you should get a coach. I mean, you have to look at your time versus money. And yes, I know for new businesses, they're looking at their nickels and dimes and going, how can I spend X amount of dollars on a coach when I'm still trying to meet payroll, or I'm still trying to do this? Well, you have to look at your opportunity cost. You have to look at giving up something for something better.
Welcome to the Painter Growth Podcast, where we help you scale your painting company in record time. Join us as we explore sales, marketing, hiring, finances, leadership, and more, everything that you need to know to scale and grow your painting business. I hope you enjoy and subscribe. What's up, everybody? Mike Gore-Hickman here, founder of Paintergrowth.com, and today we have a painter growth story where you're going to hear me interview Todd Smith from Painter1 of Utah. Now, Todd has been running his business for about 4 years. He's a $1 million per year business, and he joined our one-on-one coaching program called Blueprint Freedom in Painter Growth, and has been working with his coach. So buckle in, listen to his experience working with one of our coaches and how that has impacted his business. Cool. Well, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, so my name's Todd Smith. My wife and I, Karen, own Painter1 of Utah County. We're married. We have 4 kids. We have 5 grandkids. We have two soon to be 3 kids that'll be married. And we bought the business about 4 years ago. I don't know how much. I mean, I can tell you a lot. My background has been, I've been in operations, for-profit education operations for 30 years. Over the last 36 years that I've been married, my wife and I have remodeled 5 homes. Mainly her. I just hand her the nail gun or the hammer or whatever. But probably about just before our youngest daughter graduated from high school, we talked about wanting to own a business. And I had known the owner of Painter1 franchise, and the original territory that he had was the one that we bought. And because I had done business consulting with franchises and had experience with that. And so when he wanted to build his franchise more, he offered the business to me. So we purchased his business, and we've had it for about 4 years now.
Awesome.
And so there's that. I guess we'll stop there.
Yeah, that's a good intro. I guess tell me a little bit about your business, like last year and leading up to before working with us.
So, there's been, originally the plan 4 years ago was we were going to buy the business. I was still in for-profit education. I had a really good job. I was a regional director, and I was traveling, and our son had gotten a divorce, and he was working. He became our project manager for various reasons, and so we decided to hold off on me quitting my job. So we kind of, for 3.5 years, we did good. I mean, our first year we did about $1 million. First 2 years we did about $1 million. Last year we dropped down about 20%. And my wife actually said, "Look, we need you. We need you in the business. You're a networker, operations, sales, marketing." And so I did finally quit my job about 3 months ago. And so that was a big factor in what's happening now. But the other big factor, obviously, is my son had used coaches before for his window washing business, and I knew other people that had used coaching associations like yourself. And when we were in January, when we were at the conference, I met you and you did a presentation, and I felt like, well, this is probably something I should do. I know business, I know marketing, I probably can do okay on my own, but having somebody that can hold me accountable and offer some suggestions and ideas is probably a good move. And so I quit my job and I started doing Painter Growth, and things have been going unbelievable.
So where did you find out about us where was your first introduction with us?
It was down in the Dominican Republic with you
Okay. At the conference.
at the
Okay.
conference. Yeah, that was
Okay.
the first I'd heard of you. Yeah.
Perfect. And what was it that made you decide that, all right, this is it. Something's got to change.
Well, I was making pretty good money as a regional director of operations. so, so we knew we had to replace that income. So that had a big factor because I was making good money with that. Um, so that was a big factor. And I think the other big thing for me is a lot of the stuff that all the resources and the training and the videos and stuff that I have gone through with Painter Growth, I'd say I probably know 70, 75, 80% of it. But one, it was a refresher, but probably the biggest fact, and there were some neat tools in there that I thought, well, I do this, but this is a way better tool. It's a lot easier to do, so I'm going to do that. But I think the biggest thing for me was having a coach like Dan that holds me accountable, and I can actually talk to every other week and just kind of bounce things off of him, and then him be able to put together structure. It's that's probably that's probably the biggest thing that's been helpful for me, because to be honest with you, I think now that I'm training a couple of people, and time management has been my biggest weakness that Dan's been working with me on. I'm hoping to be able to tap in even more resources that Painter Growth has.
Hmm.
There's only
Awesome.
24 hours in a day.
Yeah, unfortunately. So tell me about like the first few months working with us. What types of things were you working with? So you're in our freedom program, our one-on-one program.
Yeah.
So what was the first few months like?
Well, so I think one of the things that was exciting for me is I love networking. I love marketing, and I know I can create business like I know I can. And to be able to spend time with Dan, telling him what I'm creating and him being able to have his input was a big deal, because he got excited. Like, he was excited with what I was doing. He just knew that I needed to kind of fine tune some things to be able to sustain this and grow it even more. And so, the first 2 or 3 meetings, I'll be honest with you, I was lucky to accomplish 1 or 2 of the goals that he'd given me, you know, because I just got busy and I just got crazy. But I did do, and it's probably been in the last 3 visits that we've had that I've really been able to spend more time and review kind of what our plan of action is for the next 2 weeks. That's helped me a ton,
Hmm.
because the business is here. It's amazing, because our leads are down. We're wrapping up May, and we got 40 less leads this month versus a year ago, last May. But our close ratio's up, and our average jobs are up, and it's all from this networking and this connection. It's just like been so much fun to see happen, and it's been fun to be able to bounce that off of Dan and him kind of give a couple of suggestions. He's like, well, we got to get you got to get some people to do the project managing so you can keep doing what you're good at doing, you know?
Yeah,
So that's
absolutely.
been a big thing.
So what has happened to your sales over the last 3 months? So you said you did about 1 million, just under that last year. What's kind of happened in the last 3 months?
Well, so in March, the first month I was doing this full time, we did about $65,000, and it was about a 20% increase from last March. In April, we did 110,000, and that was almost 30,000 more than last year. And then this month that we're closing out on will be another 100,000. So this we've never in the 4 years we've done this, we've never seen $100,000 months earlier in the year, like in the second quarter. Usually we see the 100,000 like in August, in September and October.
Yeah,
And so, and like, I mean, I got about almost 200,000 booked that'll be part of, June and July.
that's awesome. How do you
So
like
yeah,
with all of this going on now, how do you feel about the future of your business?
I feel good. I feel good. I've got a project manager that we hired 4 weeks ago, and he's really doing well. Um, so I feel good. I'm giving him more responsibility, and then and like I said, last month, this whole opportunity to come into Logan. The thing I like about Logan is we're going to be really I mean, my other business is our cash flow is great and our volume's good, but I mean, we have some debt. I mean, I had to get an SBA loan to buy the business, and we had a line of credit, and it's not terrible, but you got debt. And with this new location, we're going to be able to tap into the resources of our old of the Utah County location, and we'll be cash positive with the first month, like just, and that's what I'm super excited about because I went to a networking where I'm big into and BNI network. I belong to two, and then my son up here, he has one. I went and visited it 2 weeks ago, and we've already done a couple of estimates. Like we got three jobs that we'll be doing starting in the middle of June already up
Yeah.
here in Logan, and then we're going to send out an email blast next week, and to his 2,000 customers, and I just feel like Logan could. I'm interviewing painters today, and we've got an interview with a possible project manager today here in Logan. So it's just trying to juggle both locations.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, how would you describe the way that you kind of work with painter growth? So there's the coaching, there's the training, like how do you kind of work with everything and being, in having a full career already and then getting into this, like what are the things that you're taking away from what we're offering?
So I'll preface it by telling you time management has been a big issue for me, and it's probably the first 15 minutes of our biweekly calls is specifically Dan hammering me on, you know, uh, working on the business and not in the business and trying to get above the minutia. So that's been my biggest issue. The last 3 weeks have improved drastically. And I think so. Like for example, I'll give the last call last week. One of the assignments he had given that we had talked about having is time management, going back and reviewing the video that you had a couple of months ago that was specific to time management and the spreadsheets that you had. And so now we look at that. I kind of I mapped out what it looks like right now, or like what it looked like 3 weeks ago, and then every week I kind of see how I can improve more time for me to work on the business instead of in the business. And so that's one resource that's been really good. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I haven't had as much, in the first couple of months, I was able to get on those Tuesday calls live, and I was able to do the Facebook ones live. But lately, I've had to just go back and re-listen to them because I've just been too busy. So I haven't done the other resources nearly as much as just my coaching with Dan and reviewing kind of what my 5 or 6 goals are, or
Mhm.
action items are for the next call, and putting together a plan to try to fix those. Um, so I want to be able to, you know, I want to go back and review those, but that's, yeah, my one-on-one, and him holding me accountable and having the 4 or 5 items have been the biggest thing that I've utilized the most in the last month and a half.
Awesome. So based on all these new changes in your business, where do you feel like you're going to be ending 2024 at?
Well, I'm kind of glass half full kind of guy. And I've been trying to, one of the things I've been trying to do is build up the commercial side. And I'm sure you know how commercial works. You know, I've got three big bids that I know I'm a finalist in that could be a deal breaker. Like one's $350,000 deal for an HOA job, and another one's is 125,000. But anyway, I've got probably 600,000 or 700,000 in possible bids that I think I'll get one of them, two of them. I mean, they say they're wanting to go with me, but until they pull the trigger, that could make a big difference. But putting that aside, because that would just be just kind of icing on the top. I think this year for the Utah County one, I'm 1.5. I think we could do. And if we get some of these commercial bids, it could be higher than that. And I think for Logan, I think we can do 300,000, 350,000. And then
Sounds
we're
good,
just
Sheriff.
starting in June. In 6 months, I mean, we can go. If we can do 300,000 in 6 months, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's a pretty good intro to a turf.
Yeah. So that's you know, I yeah, I feel like the commercial thing would be like if I could get any of those deals, I could be more than that. But I'm not. I'm trying to be realistic, even though I think everybody loves me and they should go with us because we get great customer service.
So as you get out of the day-to-day more, bringing on project managers, um, do you intend on going back through the training, or how do you intend on working with Painter Growth moving forward?
Well, and this is an interesting. You bring up a good point, and Dan and I talked about this last week. With the way the economy is, with the inflation and elections here in the United States and all that kind of stuff, and that we have power calls with our franchise every other week, and the number one topic that comes up every 2 weeks is how can we get more leads? How can we get more leads? We're not getting very good leads. We're having a hard time closing. Blah 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 blah. Well, to me, and Dan kind of reiterated this to me last week. I have an opportunity because of my ability to network and because of my ability to get referrals and repeat, because that's where we're getting it right now. We're creating stuff from nothing. Like I've got 9 crews, and my goal is to keep the 9 crews busy. And last Friday we had 3 estimates, and I had 2 crews that I didn't have jobs for come Monday, and I created 2 jobs, $20,000 worth of business, just like that, you know. And um, so I can do that, and I love doing that. So I don't want to completely step away from that
Yeah.
because that's what I mean. But the marketing and the networking is, and what Dan has said, and I agree with him, is this is an opportunity for me to build a foundation, a strength, and because eventually I know, inflation is going to improve and we'll see an increase in leads and more people are going to want to paint. Well, if I can already have a foundation built with all these referrals and this networking, then I'm already a step ahead of everybody else,
Yeah.
you know?
I think that yeah, there's a lot of lead generation training that we have that I think you're gonna have to, or you should plug into soon. That will be really helpful.
Yeah, I
Commercial
agree.
and
I
residential.
agree. I agree.
So
I,
what would you
I do
say?
agree.
What would you say to someone who's maybe in your situation around like $1 million business or so, but is looking at Painter Growth as a potential coaching partner? What would you say to someone looking at us from the outside in?
I would say, if you were to ask me this 4 or 5 years ago, I'd say, why would I want to spend, because it's not cheap, right? Why would I want to spend money getting a coach when I already know this stuff? I would have said that 3 or 4 years ago. And my son, he paid good money for his window washing and his cleaning. And so he would talk to me about it and say, man, I'm telling you, this is great. And he went to the events, and I haven't been to an event yet. I need to go to the next one, but
This October.
yeah. So I'm going to do that, but it's like, it's just the accountability. You take somebody like me that has years of business experience in operations and managing people and marketing and those kinds of things. And it doesn't matter the industry. You would think I could successfully run a business, and I probably can, but it's one of those good, better, best kinds of things, right? I could do a good job, stay at $1 million and do okay. Or I could get a coach that holds me accountable, that understands what I'm saying, and I respect his experience and his suggestions, and he holds me account. I mean, the whole painter growth thing holds me accountable. I'm moving to that best thing. I'm not good. I'm going better. I'm going best. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. So what would you say to
I
someone
mean,
on the outside then?
you get a coach. You need a coach. You should get a coach. I mean, if you have to look at your time versus money. And yes, I know for new businesses, they're looking at their nickels and dimes and going, how can I spend X amount of dollars on a coach when I'm still trying to meet payroll, or I'm still trying to do this? Well, you have to look at your opportunity cost. You have to look at giving up something for something better. You got to you got to look beyond that. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of a coach. You need a coach. I mean, it's what's gonna, and you got to utilize it too. I mean, it's one thing for somebody to say, all right, I'll pay the money, but it's another thing for them to actually tap into. And I haven't completely tapped into the resources. I'm still needing to tap in more, but I'm already seeing success.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, really excited for your growth so far. And I know this is just feels like it's probably been a long time to get to this point, but I feel like it's just the beginning for you.
Yeah, I do
Got a
too.
lot of
I do
green
too.
pastures ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for popping on, Todd.
Okay, you bet. Thanks, Mike. Have a good day.
Yeah. Okay, you too. Really appreciate you. Thanks for listening to the Painter Growth Podcast. If you want to grow your painting business, go to www.paintergrowth.com or click on the top link in the description. Talk soon.